Welcome
to Film
Shapes,
the podcast.
Nazywa się Wanda Gruz. To jest jedyna siostry krewna. Powinna ją siostra poznać, zanim złoży śluby.
So, welcome, guys. Let's just check who's here tonight. It's Roly once more. How are you?
Hello, very well.
Good, good. Merv, again. How are you, Merv?
Well, thank you.
Good. And for the first time on this lockdown stream style thing, it's Liam. How are you, Liam?
I am marvellous, thank you.
Great. Good to hear. Okay, well, guys, tonight we're talking about Ida. Now, this is a Polish post-war drama directed by Paweł Pawlikowski from 2013. Now, Ida, she's a young nun who has to visit her auntie before doing her vows, and she finds out a few secrets. It's showing on SBS On Demand now in Australia. Guys, what did you think about it? Roland?
Oh, I thought it was a pretty intense but very good watch, actually. It held me through the whole thing. See, I'm not sure because often when I try and watch a film, it'll be at night. And as you know, I have a little bit of an issue with falling asleep in front of films.
Yeah.
That didn't happen with this film. But I did watch it during the day. So I'm wondering if that's part of it. So I'm not sure how much to...
Daytime cinema. Yeah.
That
Maybe.
aside, it's a pretty intense, full-on film, isn't it? I mean, it's...
Yes and no. Well, I'm going to get to that in a moment. Merv, what do you reckon?
Well, when you sent me the film and I looked at it, I basically went, "Oh dear, here we are." It looked very much. This film was made purely and specifically for the International Film Festival crowd. Designed for awards. So it's like a bit of Euro cinematic wank.
Okay.
But I enjoyed the first hour, but the last 20 minutes just lost it for me.
Where do you... So, from where? From which point? Without spoiling too much.
Probably from after they resolve the main issue. And
Good.
Then it
well danced around.
Yep. And then it continues on with the little bit of the aftermath of that. And that little 20 minutes just... I don't know.
A lot of meat in that 20 minutes.
Not really.
No?
Not for me.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Unnecessary.
Okay. Liam, what did you think?
I thought it was bad.
Bad? Okay. Go on.
Well, I thought it's... I wanted it to be about the second main character. I thought she was much more interesting.
This is the auntie you're talking about.
Yeah.
And, I'd go with that.
I thought the nun character, I didn't care. I mean, she could.
Yeah, no. She was
going to go one way or the other. I thought the aunt character had a really interesting backstory that we didn't get to hear. The main character, Ida, had a choice to make about going into the convent, and I didn't care what choice she made. I thought the background about her family was really interesting, but we didn't go into enough.
But none. Isn't this? I mean, this is a pretty short film. It's really sparse, and there's not much going on anywhere. I kind of like and dislike that part of it. It's hard to describe, but it's really a big issue film played really simply with like, I don't know, it's black and white, it's in 4:3, a bit like Cold War, which he followed up with. But yeah, it's just very sparsely done and really underplayed all the way through. It's dramatic. There should be some drama, but there doesn't seem to be that much drama in it. I don't know.
I think maybe bad's a bit strong, but I was disappointed that it wasn't about the things I wanted it to be about, and I didn't care about what it was about.
Right. Okay.
I think maybe the fact she's kind of a bit boring through the film until a certain point. I would argue. I mean, that's kind of the auntie's point, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Kind of pull her out of just being this kind of ball of nothing that she is or seems to be. So, you know, when she gets to the point of actually putting on her clothes and smoking a fag, I think she starts to become a bit more interesting, but that's quite a bit later in the film, isn't it?
And I think, going through what the auntie thought of that rather than it happening, I thought it would have been a story that I would have wanted to engage with more.
Yeah, I think I see Merv's point now. Like that almost was. That was probably going to happen. That sort of thing. Like she's going to follow what the auntie said, and you know, go a little bit wild for a day or two is how long it took, and then
it was.
You know, like it was almost like pretty predictable, that part of it, I think. Whereas not much else film was that predictable. Yeah, I don't know.
Predictable to me. Totally off topic. Sorry if you were going somewhere.
Go
on. The cinematography, so the camera person in this film had a particular liking for what I would say is the bottom quarter of the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
What makes it look like a festival film, I think, is quite content
Do you want to hear
leave the top of the film
here?
completely empty.
Yeah. Now here's some bollocks. Now this film won Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars. Fair enough. I mean, I think it's pretty good, not fantastic, but that's the kind of film they're gonna give awards to. But this fucker was nominated for cinematography.
Yeah,
the cinematography.
Well, I mean, that's because it was. Well, put it bluntly, and I had a little bit of a read up on this afterwards because I was like going, "This reminds me of Bergman, Igmar." Yeah. And so I had a read. He pretty much used the exact same lens that Bergman used in all his films.
Okay.
And a similar lighting style. So it was basically a single source, often natural light, which is what gave you the shadow and everything like that.
Yeah.
And because I think it was one particular bit where Ida is framed or something, I went, that looks like the way Bergman used to do, who was his main actress? Her name's completely
Liv Ullmann. Liv Ullmann or Bibi Anderson. Yeah. One of those ones.
And I think the actress he picked because she was particularly beautiful with the dimple and everything. And I think her face looked very well framed. And it had
not always.
Oh, I don't think he ever made her look. She was always. It was like a photograph. The entire film. I think there is three scenes in the entire film where the camera actually moves.
Right. Okay, but that's all well and good. But it seemed like, as Roly was saying, he forgot to tilt the camera. Oh, her face has gone out of camera, especially Wanda.
I'm talking about something different.
What are you talking about?
Framing. I'm talking about the framing, not the lighting, not the movement of the camera. The static framing, where you place characters in that frame, and for whatever reason, he likes to put them all at the bottom, just with their heads and shoulders right at the bottom of the screen, and above that, in large parts of the film, there's kind of like a window or something. It was very stylized, and I can see why that is a ballsy move on some level as well.
No, I'm being a bit facetious. I know what you mean. He just there was one scene in the hospital, I think, where you couldn't see Wanda's mouth, the auntie's mouth, because it was up to her top lip, I think. And just that's just fucking, I don't know, that maybe that's arty, but it's annoying.
But is that not because our eyes are so used to seeing things framed in a certain way that we almost want to physically pan the camera down to put it back in the middle, But that's just something that's kind of in our. It's not necessarily good cinematography or bad cinematography.
No, I don't reckon it's to do with that. I mean, otherwise, when you're looking at someone in the street, are you sort of trying to obscure their face half? I mean, I don't think that's it.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's tending towards a little bit of the art house there, which it can be good. In this case, I think he was rubbing something the wrong way, shall we say? I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but no, you're right. I mean, yeah, long lingering shots. The locked off camera doesn't move that much. The jazz stuff that was happening in Cold War is also happening here a bit. I'm not very musical, but apparently this was all diegetic. Not sure I noticed that, but it's all diegetic sound. So yeah, there's another thing that he's sort of going a little artsy fartsy with.
I'll believe you there because I don't even know what that word means.
Artsy not artsy fartsy. I think you know that.
Yeah,
it's
diegetic.
It means only played when you can see it. A bit like the Dogma 95 stuff. Like if someone's playing it on a record, you can see it, so you can hear it. That's it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I liked it to a point, but I drifted off a little bit. Oh, just one more thing while we're on this. This is where I was going before, I think, Rolly. When she's taking a walk at the end, what do you think she's going to do?
That's right. It kind of finishes like that, doesn't it? Oh, I spoiled it.
Yeah, without spoiling. But
no, she's walking at the end. Okay,
she's walking, but we don't know where. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Is she going to take the old house back or something?
I think it's fairly obvious she's going back to where she started.
No, well, I thought that at the beginning, but I don't know. I'm 50-50 now.
Then why would she change?
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
It's good balletic work here, Merv.
Well, you told us not to spoil things.
I guess to show up at the place, to say, thanks but no thanks. I don't know. Liam, what do you reckon? Oh, I'm just told I'm shouting in the lounge. Sorry. Okay, I'll keep it down. Liam, what do you think?
Well, I think that anyone who was trying to avoid spoilers, things have been sufficiently spoiled that if you saw the first 10 minutes and heard and bothered to remember what was being said now, probably it's all been spoiled. But actually, like I said before, I didn't care. I thought she was going back to where she came from, but...
to do what, though? To accept or reject?
Spend her life there.
And, okay.
And
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before people were talking about the way, I actually felt that the pace and the look matched each other well. I thought it was good from that side of things. And it was just the story that I was a little bit just a little bit apathetic about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair play.
Yeah, there was some controversy about this film. I think from one side of the argument, I think the Polish Christians, a lot of people thought that they turned out looking quite bad in this film because the film neglected to recount that a lot of Polish Christians were executed during the war for helping out Polish Jews. And that wasn't really explained in the film necessarily. Yeah, I think it was enough for me, but
I think I read something about that as well. But I think the argument that you can't, especially in a shortish film, you can't have all angles of everything that happened covered. Like if you can't see what Wendy got up to and where she was coming from, we certainly can't cover Central European politics of the 1940s to 60s.
Yeah.
It's a big ask.
I thought the film basically just came down to one person who, it didn't. I think that was just an oversensitive crowd just looking for something to complain about, if that's their argument. Because
I think part of the argument is also based on where the funding money came from for the film. So it was funded by a body that maybe should have had more of an interest in that. Maybe there's
really
okay basis, but I don't have a lot of the details. So
you might have read something similar to what I read, Rolly. This woman called Agnieszka Graf. She's a Polish feminist writer, I think. She accused this film of shallowness, fair enough, and Christianizing the Holocaust.
Christian
I don't.
Holocaust.
I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not sure that's a quote from her. But that's what somebody else has quoted her as saying. She says it's historically bereft, but looks pretty, but doesn't say anything historically. So yeah, I mean that's fair though. But do we have to have that?
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was trying to say anything. I think it's very
that's
much,
the point.
Yeah.
That's her point. Like he's not trying to say anything, and he's kind of by doing that he's undermining it. I don't know.
And maybe it's the case that films that aren't in English or films that are in Polish, only a certain number of them get distribution much wider than Poland. And so, for example, if this was in English and from Hollywood, there's movies about a billion different things, but that get seen around the world, and you know maybe it has a broader picture. But this is only one film for 80 minutes. Did you say it was? And it's slow moving, about two people.
Yeah.
How much can you cover?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a bit rough to say he's taking one side against the other.
I found this film was very much about aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
It's the aftermath of World War II. It's the aftermath of death of family. It's a desire. It's showing people with a desire to forget.
Yeah,
because they've just been through so much crap. Because it's still there, and people are just trying to. I mean, I've seen it through where I work with people who are trying to get over a disaster. For a while there, they just, because it's been all consuming, they just don't want to talk about it. And I think you've got a society which has just gone through the ravages of World War II. They've gone through a sudden implementation of communism, which implies that had its own impact on people. When the aunt basically confesses that she vigorously prosecuted people for the Communist Party,
right?
To get rid of those people who are against it. So, and even there's a little car crash. You never see the car crash, but you only see the aftermath.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's what I mean. Point. I think it's very much just people dealing with these big events, but in a very small way. This is just a small little way. And even the way the film shot, I think in the black and white, it shows Poland so dreary and falling apart in a way, because you can really see those stains. Yeah,
that's how you imagine Poland, Roly. Is that right?
Not even like that at all, but that's just every depiction of Poland I can think of is kind of like that.
Yeah, that whole thing about it's weaned out of Wanda, the fact that I can't really spoil this. Okay, she's got an individual guilt issue from the wartime, and it's kind of that's sort of mirrored with almost the whole population of Poland, and they've got some guilt for how do I say this the things that they did or didn't do for the Jewish population.
Yeah.
So, I think it's sort of really hovering around guilt, this film. It's hard to talk about it if we don't spoil.
Having to deal with someone that's done so, essentially committed crimes to your direct family, and then having to live next to them again in some way. That's
I thought that car crash scene that wasn't. So I think that's probably my favourite moment of the film, actually.
Yeah, right.
Because and again, it does sort of say it doesn't show the action; it shows the reaction. It shows what happens after, and because it would be. The pace of the film would be completely upset if there was even the minor prang that was.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Yeah, just pulled back onto the road by a couple of horses.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah. Did anybody? Has anyone seen Cold War? Rolly, you've seen this, right? We did a pod on this one.
Yeah. I think I was a bit cold on Cold War.
Yeah. Merv, you saw Cold War?
Nope.
No. Okay, Liam. Okay, so only Roly, then you might have recognised the singer in the sax player's band.
Oh, yeah. blonde?
That's the lead from Cold War.
Cold War. Oh, okay, I did not pick that at all.
She's in about 3 of his films. I guess he likes her as an actress. She's pretty good.
A muse.
She's a bit of a muse. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so in general, we've got kind of covered the board with this. Did anyone love it? It seems like nobody loved it.
I think a lot of people loved it, but just no one on this podcast.
I came close, but not quite, I think.
Yeah. But I was surprised that, because I didn't read about it until after I'd watched it, and I was surprised that it was so widely lauded.
Yeah. Well, it ticks the boxes. It ticks that Euro cinema, art house, festival, lovey crowd. You know,
Merv, you say that with such antipathy and hatred in your voice.
Well, it's not particularly original stuff.
What's wrong with European art house?
They tick boxes, most of them nowadays.
Okay.
Not the, it's, I don't know. I kind of watched and went black and white, tick. Slow moving story, tick. Tragedy, depressing, tick, tick.
I think, Merv, you have to make a film which is literally about someone ticking boxes in black and white.
Black and white.
And it must be Russian.
Yeah. Oh, well, I thought it was... I think if it had gone much longer, I probably would have drifted away, but it just held my attention just enough, I think.
Yeah. The first hour held my attention. The last 20 minutes just I was like, finish this.
I think Roly, who started off with perhaps the most positive comment, the positive attitude to anyone, started off by saying that he managed to not fall asleep during the film.
That's a big
so maybe we all think about it fairly similarly.
Let's go on the poster. Yeah.
Roly didn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
That should it should be on the poster. I can see it now, actually. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, nice. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much. We should do this again one day. All right.
Looking forward to it.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
All right, bye.
See ya.